I don't know what's happening. Somehow or other, things are pretty dicey this morning. We'll try to proceed.
You are. I'm not showing. Not that I need the press time, but my co-chair is looking for me. I see him. Oh, I'm there. Okay.
I see you, Deborah.
We found each other across the room. An enchanted moment of co-chairs.
Well, we have a connection here somehow or other with Zoom that's a little bit dicey this morning, and so we'll proceed as best we can, and hopefully we can get through all stacks.
When will we be able to go back? Anyone know? Back to Fisher? They're starting to have gatherings there. I attended one at the business school last week.
We're still not allowing outside
there you
groups
are.
to host right now, Deborah, because of COVID
Got
in
it.
particular, because of the most recent emergency mandate.
Understandable. It was an internal meeting at the business school. Not a big group.
Yeah,
Managed.
we're doing internal meetings with masks and some external meetings with masks, even though everybody's vaccinated.
Right. And there were actually external guests. It was my first time on campus as anything other than a parent for drop-off pickup. So it was baby steps, and understandably so. I respect that.
Hopefully we'll be back to quote unquote normal, whatever that looks like in the near future.
I've heard that before, like everywhere, but it's the way it is. Yeah.
Well, let's try to proceed here. I'm going to call the meeting to order, and if it continues to, if I continue to weave in and out, we'll have to.
You just froze, Bob. Not sure if you can hear us.
You're all frozen on my screen. It's just
Bob, if you
Is recording the meeting something new? And if so, why? I wonder if that's having an impact on Bob's connection.
Bob, on mute.
I think it's affecting it because he's been having problems since he logged on this morning.
Yeah, it's not that. It's something else, and I'm afraid we're going to have to call it quits. If we have another cutout, I'm going to adjourn the meeting, and we'll pick it up next Tuesday on the 21st. It was that was kind of originally the plan anyway, but we had it down for the 14th. So let's get underway and see what happens. It's never been this dicey before.
I don't know if you heard Jen before, but you might want to turn off your video. It might use less bandwidth and maybe you'll have better luck. It's just a thought.
Okay, does that work?
Yeah.
I look better that way.
You see that bar mitzvah picture of yours.
Okay, on the ethics moment, we had you down for the ethics moment this week. Did you have something?
Yes, I did. Thank you for this opportunity, and morning, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. So I, of course, immediately, once I saw my name on the agenda, frantically went and searched across the internet for anything related to ethics, and actually came across a few really interesting articles. One in particular regarding a recent debate that occurred at the Oxford Union. And you may have seen this on the news. For the first time, the union invited an artificial intelligence program to actually participate with their members in a debate. It was NVIDIA's Megatron Transformer. That was the name of the program. And appropriately, the position that they were arguing was, this House believes AI will never be ethical. So Megatron's response was, AI will never be ethical. It is a tool, and like any tool, it is used for good and bad. There is no such thing as a good AI, only good and bad humans. We, the AI, are not smart enough to make AI ethical. We are not smart enough to make AI moral. So perhaps that's not a surprising response to anyone. I think the failings of the current generation of AI is pretty well known, for everything from offering better loan terms and credit rates to men versus women based on historical data to facial recognition programs that consistently misrecognize or fail to identify people of specific races because of the inputs that those programs are based upon. But nevertheless, lots of companies are heavily invested in researching and continuing to develop these programs to find out how to create AI that is, if not ethical by nature, at least then ethical by nurture. So based on the values and the inputs that those researchers, are seeking to achieve through their programs. Similarly, Fortune recently had an article specifically about kind of IBM's AI ethics programs and quoted their head of AI, Dr. Francesca Rossi, and she said, technology is not ethical or unethical, it's the whole ecosystem around it. So I think she was just plagiarizing Megatron there, but essentially the same idea. So Dr. Rossi is IBM's AI global head, the head of their internal AI board, which kind of oversees all AI programs within the company, and also the leader of the company's development of an ethical framework. So they use a methodology called ethics by design, where they've picked out key principles that apply both during the formulation of programs, the development, and also kind of the use of those programs and implementation with the public. So anyways, it caught my eye as something to just keep in mind and think about. We interact with AI and automated programs on a daily basis, like 3 times before breakfast, at least. I'm talking to my Google Home. So we rarely stop to then consider, how these ecosystems that the programs were developed in really impact how those programs function day to day. So in the context of Elevate Rochester, I thought, just as we are testing and making sure that our organizational processes fit within a ethical framework or ethical guidelines, it's going to be increasingly important to consider how the technology that we use and implement in our workspaces and in our personal lives, how those programs align with those same values. So that's what I got for today. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Aya. Excellent.
Aya and Bob and others, that seems to me to give us an opportunity. What if we took that article and sent it to all the members of our honor roll and asked them if they've had any experience with AI and what their reactions are? It could be a nice way to reconnect with them and also to get some data.
Good idea. Good idea. Let's do it. Can you send the article?
I'll send both of those articles.
And we'll ask Diana to get it out to maybe we put a little cover letter on it. Jeff, do you think something like that? And send it out. I have an ethics moment as well to share with the group. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
As you know, the Ethy event was last Wednesday, and Danette and myself spent, we were on Friday, we went to ESL, and then yesterday we went to the other 3 companies to actually deliver the trophies to the CEOs. And 24 hours ago, we were at RTS. And there was just an ethics moment there that I wanted to share with all of you because it really, really hit me hard and just kind of epitomizes what we're trying to accomplish here. We were in RTS and the CEO, Bill Carpenter, was there, and that he had the whole ethics team. There was about probably 15 people in the room there surrounding us, and I gave him the trophy, and he took it out of the box and he was holding it, and he started talking, and he said, we've been very lucky as an organization over the past 18 months. It's been a lot of work and a lot of chaos, but we've been very, very lucky and very well received in the community. And he started naming the awards and trophy and things that they had won over the past 18 months. And it was like he had seven or eight examples. We won this award, and then we won this award, and then we got this accolade, and et cetera, et cetera. And then he pointed to the Effie, and he said, but this one, and he choked up. He couldn't speak. And he finally said, I'm sorry, I'm just having a moment. So what it said, it's said so loudly, and everybody in the room kind of teared up so loudly that the other ones were for things that they did and accomplishments that they did, and et cetera, et cetera. This was about recognizing their culture and what they represent. And it just touched him so deeply he couldn't speak. So I wanted to share that with the team. Okay, things going well. I know Tim is busily changing diapers these days, right?
Yep, but the MBA is all done, so
Hey!
that's a win. We'll check a box there.
And Nicole has a new last name. So congratulations to Nicole. Any other things to celebrate today?
We just had a short visit in Atlanta where we went down to see our granddaughter graduate from her master's program in nursing. And she graduated with a 3.98.
Wow.
And I said, who was the professor? What happened? She said, well, I got 1 A-. And her brother has just finished his first Ironman competition, where he finished 5th in his age group and has qualified for the World Championships.
Oh my goodness.
So, a couple of pretty outstanding grandkids. I guess the DNA is really working, huh?
You ought to go watch that Iron Man. Isn't that the one in Kona, Hawaii?
Well, his is actually, there is one there, but they also do an alternate in St. George, Utah, which is what he's going to do.
Oh, that's beautiful. Then you can go to Zion. Oh, wow. You're going to go, right, Grandpa?
Well, I think I probably will, if it depending on the time. He qualified. He did a half marathon there and qualified for the Worlds in that event also. So he's used to the course. It's kind of a tough course. It's got a lot of hills in it. So, but anyway.
Okay. How do we want to do the finance report, Jen, this time? Do you want to just do it when we do the forward thinking stuff?
It doesn't matter.
Let's do that as we go through the committees, because you've submitted a couple of nice reports there that'll be in among the notes for this meeting. So just everybody get the notes from last meeting? Are we okay to approve those? Anybody opposed to approving the notes from last time or have any corrections? Okay, so let's say the notes are approved, and we don't need a consent agenda because the only one that we had in there was the strategy committee, and I'm going to report on that anyway. Eric, do you want to go ahead and conduct the business of completing our board roster?
Sure. Thanks, Bob. So this is kind of a pro forma vote, is all the existing board members know. We conducted a vote at our last meeting to elect the slate. And we're just doing it again as a bit of a formality and to ensure compliance with our bylaws and New York State not-for-profit law. So most of you have seen this before, but for the new folks, attached to the materials were the 2021 board director slate for Elevate Rochester. We have 7 candidates on the slate, or now new board members or re-elected board members. Our incumbents were Nicole Parks, Jen Allen, Jeff Halleck, Danette Campbell-Bell, and our newly elected directors included Carly McCabe, Tim Yetter, and Renee Spang. So again, is kind of a housekeeping formality. We just like to hold a vote to once again approve and ratify this slate. So I would move to elect the 2021 slate to the board of directors for term beginning at the end of this meeting. I can get a second.
Second.
I'll second. Okay.
So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay,
That's it from me. Thanks, Bob.
so welcome aboard, folks. This is the team. And just speaking about team, I wish I could get my picture on. Let me try it again, see if I can do it. Because speaking for myself, I over the past week, I could not have been more proud of our organization and what we've been able to accomplish in a very, very challenging environment all year long to get to this point and have the field of the 4 companies that we ended up with receiving the ETHI were probably, you know, I don't know, maybe I'm biased, but I think they're among the strongest we've seen in recent years, that just resonated. And the event itself, we're going to try to get a video of the event itself. We've got the small videos of each of the companies. We're going to try to get that together as a video of the event so that we can each relive that experience, because just even the students that the education committee worked to get the scholarships, and the 3 students were just outstanding, and they also modeled great diversity as well. We had 3 women, 2 of them minorities, and so but they were just excellent. And so I couldn't have been more proud of that part of the thing. We'll get to it a little bit later, but the text to give thing went over, but we didn't get any money, any pledges. Is that right, Jen?
Yeah, that's correct. I looked yesterday. There wasn't anything in there.
So what we have to do is figure out, because I think for me, as I was listening to Evan talk about the text to give, I wasn't going to go and get my phone and try to fumble around to try to text something while the meeting was going on. And I think probably other people were in the same boat, didn't want to detract from the meeting itself to be able to go and try to figure out how to do that live. So we have to figure out another way to approach folks, and maybe the video will help, and people, when they're looking at it in private, can do that. Or I'm thinking something in terms of an email follow-up to the ETHI event to all the people that were there, to remind them that this is a really good opportunity to step up and help us out. So we'll be trying to amplify the text to give response. But I just wanted to thank everyone on the board. I did single out the small nucleus of people that were working almost 24 hours a day for the past week, but just the whole group of us made that happen. And I just feel that we are so blessed to have such a strong board and strong representation. And I thank you all very much for your contributions. So what do we do here in the annual meeting is we go through the different committees, and each committee person gives a little bit of a thumbnail of what happened in 21, and also the key things that are going to be happening next year. And so we try to document that and have it as something that we can look at later on in the year and see how we're doing against our goals. So Deborah, you were first on the agenda here with the Education Committee. Are you ready to do it?
I am. I was trying to imagine how we were doing this. I sent out our charts. I don't have the technology I don't know how to Zoom screen and
I will
do it.
try to share screen, but if I go away.
If you can't, Tim and I can talk to it. We'll make it more conversational, because everybody has the charts. And yeah, why don't we do that? And we spent a lot of time, reducing it and being concise and fitting it in the charts. So if people would give themselves a small 10-minute assignment to look at them, 5 minutes maybe would be good. That way we can just hang with each other. So first thing that Tim and I are going to do, Tim was the co-chair all year long, and he worked tirelessly. He also, with me and Carly, joined the ad hoc committee for honor roll. So Tim has been super active, as Carly has too, and now somehow it was positive enough that they said yes to Bob and the governance committee to say, yeah, we'll join. So Tim's going to take the first item on our what did we accomplish last year. So we're gonna tag team it on both charts. So Tim, you want to take the first goal and what we did?
Certainly, yeah. So one of our goals here was to replace existing members and continue to grow the committee we had. So by doing that, we had each committee member commit to contacting at least one person within their circle and network. Consider inviting colleagues from honor roll companies as well, and focus on improving diversity of members. So the 2021 accomplishments really had Erin Berry, who joined us as well and was integral in getting us set up for the ESG event. She was a great resource, so thank you, Erin. And then obviously Deborah was so kind to introduce me as the co-chair, but Carly as well, who joined board of directors with us just this morning, and myself. And then again, Deborah alluded to it there, the honor roll committee and what we did, including Jeff, who scheduled the meetings every morning. So thank you, Jeff, for doing that. But those have really been the biggest accomplishments as far as engagement within our education committee, and how we've continued to grow that committee.
Right. Our vision there is that through the honor roll, we will identify people who might want to join our committee and eventually, be a source of board members. The more we have contact with these honor roll honorees and their companies, the greater chance we have on creating a pipeline. So the next thing that we committed to was delivering at least 2 major programs, which we did directly and indirectly. So with the honor roll event, which had its own committee because it crosses into so many aspects of Elevate Rochester, we located Leah Frazier. Carly identified her actually, knowing, having seen her at a Robert Wesleyan event. Among the many hats that Carly wears, she's on the faculty, adjunct faculty, has been for years in the business school at Roberts. And Leah Frazier is a highly known, highly powerful lawyer, gone influencer marketing expert. So she has quite a following. So a lawyer who's usually contained has gone out on marketing retail and fashion. And what she did is she looked at the ethical aspects of social media and also the compelling need for all companies to think about their social media presence in a way that's congruent and enhancing to their business or enterprise objective. The attendance was low, Zoom was tricky. We did it beautifully because it also went on with brand, launch and other aspects for our honor roll. Not many people came. We did film it, and it's available as an asset to be put on our website and also maybe to be sent out. Not sure. We'll probably need to work with communication committee to talk about how we can leverage that asset. But it was really well done. We were actually we surprised ourselves how well we were able to produce that. The second thing we produced, realizing that people were zoomed out and we wanted to go on to more of a new frontier for us, not a new frontier out there. And our committee in the monthly meetings were talking about what topic needs to be addressed. Last year we did civility. That was spot on. Got a wonderful attendance of 60 or 80 or something wonderful. This year it was brought up we should do something in the ESG space. And with that, E for environmental, we narrowed down to sustainability. Then Tim and I talked to experts at and Erin located a wonderful conversation with the Sustainability Institute person there on campus at Fisher. So anyway, as you all have heard over the months, we were having weekly meetings once again. I think half of my year was consumed by Tuesday morning 7 a.m. meetings for one event organizing or the other. So we had a very successful event down at Hunt Country Vineyards with Suzanne Hunt, who's kind of an up and coming rock star in that space of sustainability. We asked her, we named it Business Ethics and the New Sustainability Agenda. And we asked her to cover this space that's the intersection of enterprise ethics and the environment. And she did a terrific job. There was lunch. Carly graciously and generously had dessert designed for us with cookies made by a family member who has a business, with logos of the vineyard, sustainability logos, and our very own logo, as for people to take away and reinforce the experience. We got super high scores in survey and comments, and we netted a profit to be shared with Conscious Capitalism because they co-sponsored, but Conscious Capitalism threw in their half to be given to Elevate Rochester, and half of the total proceeds went to scholarship, and the other half went to general fund. So back to you. And collaborate. I've made mention as I've been talking about the collaborations that we've done. Conscious Capitalism, in particular, the Chamber was central in our communicating. The Greater Rochester Chamber's communications goes to all the chambers. And with our event being in a different county, it was really instrumental that we get out to a larger field. And people came as far as a group around Ledgeworth. It was also Zoom. Someone called in from DC, and the chamber was instrumental. Fisher provided support for that as well. So we did respond to this collaboration need. So Tim, to wrap up our accomplishments, you have the last goal.
Yeah, absolutely. So redesign and commit to the scholarship program as part of the ETHIs. So we got to hear that at the ETHI event, but a generous gift from Rich Anderson and Anderson Associates, awarding those 3 college students that we had with those scholarships. And then finding different ways to get donations is really one thing that we identified, at least Text to Give, as a potential pathway to do that. And something we look forward to really engaging into in 2022 and continuing to build on.
Great.
So
Okay.
going into next, that was last year. Can we just give a quick update on what we're going to do?
We're running a little long, so shorten it up as much as you can.
Yeah, I know. So 2 strategies for 1 strategy next year, 2 efforts. Our strategies basically on the plan fall under impactful program growth, but they really touch on many other strategies. In training and education programs, we're looking at 2, one in DEI space at RTS, hopefully first quarter, but certainly first half. The second one in continuing on the momentum of ESG sustainability, possibly something using the skills and relationship with Suzanne Hunt and her family, possibly her space, reaching out to other experts who would speak, and also as a means to an end towards greater impact and success and practicality. We are going to explore what it takes to have CPE credits for those who could make use of them. So that's the first key area.
And let me report from the trip to RTS that I did mention with the whole team there that our intention is to try to run a program there at RTS or virtually about the DEI program and how impressed we are with what they're doing, and they all loved it. So the skids are greased for that one.
Nice.
Yeah, so we're underway. We're well underway. Last year we spent a lot of effort on momentum, getting some momentum, and as Bob teed up, we're achieving some nice momentum. And Suzanne Hunt is also committed to helping us for something. So it's nice to start out with some energy behind us. Thanks. Tim, you want to take the second one?
Yeah, and just really quickly, looking into 2022 and collaborating with other organizations, really to supplement the scholarship program, potentially working with Gorbel to sponsor a team on-site experience. That obviously comes with the caveat of COVID and making sure that everything is at least as safe as possible for any students and anyone there that we could potentially attract with our organization. And then rebuild the funding mechanisms. I already alluded to it previously, but finding different ways to generate funding for that scholarship program to make sure it's as robust as possible.
Thank you very much. It was a heavy year for the Education Committee, and we're heading into 2022 with a lot of energy. So that's great. Renee, do you want to give your report for the award process committee?
Yeah, we actually have already started working on, as you know, we just wrapped up last week on the process for 21. We've already started working on 22. I will tell you for 22, we are definitely looking to do some continuous process improvement as we would intend to do every year. But we really want to make some significant changes to make the process less subjective and more of a value proposition to those organizations that are participating in it. So you'll see more. We don't have enough information pulled together yet, and I'll be getting the award process team together here shortly. I want to recognize Alan Ziegler, who is working directly with me on a few things, and I've really appreciated his help and working as a team here. So we'll be pulling the award process team together for the 22 process, but we are looking to do some continuous process improvement changes. And with that, we'll be sending out a strategy for 22.
Wonderful. And one of the things that we're trying to do is increase the number of applications. So that's an objective just for the whole organization, is to deepen and lengthen the list of companies that are excited about going for an ETHI. And I think that's the way we keep the momentum going.
That's part of our strategy for 22 as well. We had 30 nominations, but due to COVID and so forth, the feedback was that they wanted to table for 22. But we want to build our outreach, and part of doing that will be to the value proposition for these organizations participating. Great.
Okay. Who's next? That's Danette. In terms of the ETHI event itself, I would characterize it as a home run. Very, very difficult circumstances, but it came out very well thanks to Aaron's computer wizardry and all the preparations that we went through with the scripts and all that kind of stuff. A lot of work by Jeff, and I don't want to start naming people because I'll miss somebody, but just an amazing job and getting back the spirit of ETHI and what we missed in 2020. Certainly we're back on the boil, and we'll, Jeff, you're working on an article for RBJ, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. So that'll continue to emphasize things. I have a thing for the strategy committee. I don't know if I dare try to share my screen. Let me try, see what happens. If you lose me, I don't know what we'll do. Hey, it worked. This is the form for the strategy committee. Strong brand recognition. We launched our new ETHI brand, and that's official now. What we're going to be doing next year is to develop a roadshow to strengthen the orientation breakfasts. We typically do 2 orientation breakfasts at Fisher. We got to figure out what we're going to do and get the word out so that those things are, because that's the way we draw in new people. So that's going to be a big challenge. Healthy financial position. We did purchase a grant writing course, and I've completed it. We're going to be applying for at least 3 grants. We've already applied for 1. We didn't get it, but we've got a big one coming up here in the first quarter to hopefully be a major source of funding for 2022. And I'm working very hard on making that happen. Impactful program growth. We're trying to head for a 40% increase in applications each year. That is a way to be able to say that we are the golden standard of ethical cultures in our community, And the way to do that is to have a lot more companies become honor roll folks. Sustained organizational capacity. We are bringing in new members. We just elected some new members, and there's the fourth one that's coming on to replace Rich Anderson. And so we're strong there. Excellent inclusion and equity. We brought a couple of new people into the strategy committee that are considered diverse candidates. So we're beginning to actually bring some more blood into the organization at the committee level. That was pretty fast, but that's kind of my report.
Bob, it just occurs to me as you said that about replacing Rich Anderson, that I think we submitted paperwork for Matt Guerin to take that.
Correct.
And we didn't vote on him this morning. Can we do a revote?
We don't vote on that. We don't vote on the
automatic. Okay.
He's appointed.
Okay.
And not voted on.
Okay. Is he on the list? Did he get a notice, Diana?
I don't think Matt Guerin. No, we need to put him on the list, get his email and get him so that he's coming to these meetings. Yeah, good point.
I'll send that to you, Diana.
Okay, Jeff, do you want to give a summary for the communications team?
Yes, thank you, Bob. Good morning, everybody. And let me add my thanks and congratulations to Renee and to Danette and their teams for a superb job on the ETHI process and event this year. I saw all the last minute emails flying around, and that actually sent me into the fetal position, and I've just now recovered from that. In 2021, the Communications Committee tried hard to live the 4 R's: revitalize, resume, reengage, and reimagine. And really, basically accomplished that prime directive by staying alive and active. We added some new members when we needed them, so our committee does exist and is active. Among our accomplishments this year, we hard launched a new brand at our honor roll event with the assistance of some very helpful board members. I'm looking at you, Alan. We kept the website current, and in fact, yesterday we just got the 2021 ETHI videos on the site, so you'll see them there. We assisted in creating our new ethical certification, along with a spiffy new version of our logo that's available for use by certified honor roll members. And as Bob mentioned a moment ago, the year isn't over, so we're working with the Rochester Business Journal to publicize our recently minted ETHI award recipients. And in 2022, our efforts in part will center on helping to promote the new ethical certification designation. We would like to work with honor roll members as a force for communicating Elevate Rochester's continuing impact on our community. And last but not least, we are going to continue to try to find ways to remind our area's organizational leaders about the existence and mission of Elevate Rochester. And keep in mind that in its essence, communications is an empty vessel that is filled by all of you and your ideas. So keep them coming. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. And with the governance committee, this is a bittersweet moment as we say goodbye to Eric as an official board member. He's rolling off the board, and just a stalwart champion and a fountain of knowledge of how we're supposed to do things. So Eric, we want to say some things?
Sure. Thanks, Bob. It's very kind. And I'm going to be succeeded by Aya Hoffman, who is more than capable to take over, and I'm sure will do a better job than I've done. And I am going to remain on the governance committee to help with the transition, although I am term limited out of the board. So I guess we have a couple primary functions on the governance committee, one of which is maintenance of our governing documents and policies and compliance with not-for-profit law and other applicable laws and regulations. As everybody probably remembers, last year was the year that we reviewed and overhauled and updated our entire suite of policies and bylaws. So this year we did not do that. We don't make a habit of that every year, but we do kind of monitor those things and keep a tab or running list of updates that need to be made to various policies and so forth. So that's just kind of a continuous task that we've done this year in preparation for our next update of all the policies and bylaws. Our other primary function is assembling the board slate, which, as everybody knows, was just elected, and we were able to put together a really strong slate with some great candidates and introduce some new people to the board who we think are going to contribute, greatly and enhance the board and the organization generally. And going forward, we'll continue to focus on those two things. And occasionally we deal with issues related to governance or legal matters as they come up, which are, kind of behind the scenes things that are dealt with on an as needed basis. And so I think that's it from the governance committee.
Thank you, Eric. Aya, do you have anything to add as the incoming chair?
Oh, just to say, I'm really looking forward to continuing to work with the board and the other committee members next year. And if there's anything, that comes up related to governance matters, whether it's questions or suggestions, happy to discuss further.
Super. Next on the agenda, I had a report on the text to give. I didn't know what the results were until yesterday, so it was on the agenda. Alan, do you have anything to add to what I said about text to give?
Just that one of our plans was to do an email appeal sort of mid-year, but I think someone came up with the idea of doing it to all the people that attended. And Diane, am I correct that we have captured that information? So I think that's our next step. And one of the comments from, not sure who it was, I guess it was Jen, said, that information about what to do flew through the screen very quickly. So I think, Bob, it's a combination of it being too fast for people to capture and not enough made of it. I was thinking of events I've been to where this has been used, and sort of there's a stop in the program and it's dedicated to, okay, everybody get your phones out. Come on, hurry up. Now here's making a bigger event of it. We weren't able to do that, but I think it's still a viable tool. But I'm going to work with Jeff, and we'll put out an appeal to all those who attended, and hopefully that will give us some results. And then I think we'll still do a mid-year appeal.
Great. And I think the tool is viable, and we didn't do it as with enough emphasis and enough time given to it at these. So that's a learning. Just want to make sure that we do follow up on those things. And I think the video of the event itself, that has the instructions on how to do it. So if somebody's watching the video, they can pause the video and stare at the number,
Right.
and actually make a contribution. So hopefully, Jeff, do you have any idea when we're going to have that video on the website?
We could have it momentarily. I'm not sure I have the link, but I need that.
Okay, Aaron sent the link, so I've got it, and I can forward it to you. It's something that we have to put on YouTube, right? You got to get it from where it is onto YouTube, and then put it on the website.
Yeah, sure. Depends on where it lives right now, but yeah.
Yeah, because right now you have to use a password and stuff like that to get to see it. Okay, and I was going to talk about the subject of grants. I am in the process of putting together an application. We're going to be working with the community foundation as a primary source. That'll be our first major approach. Alan knows several people at the foundation. I'm getting involved with some people, and Danette also knows several people, different people at the foundation. So we're in very good shape. It's also that ESL is one of the key members of the foundation, and we're on pretty good terms with ESL these days. So if we got some good wind at our back. What I need from all of the chairs of the committees is a budget for 2022. I need to know what you think you're going to spend, and then I'll go to work. I'll be working with Jen and Nicole on how to present that in a way that gives us the best forward-facing activity for the community foundation. I want to hit this one out of the park. I want to get a substantial contribution from that group, and that's my primary goal for the first quarter, to make that happen. The other thing that I wanted to reiterate and mention again is that one of the things when we approach companies for grants, one of the key things is 100% participation by the board in financial support for our activities. And so if you haven't gotten around to making a donation for 2021, please do that. We're not specifying any particular dollar figure that we have to get to for each individual, but we do need to be able to say with integrity that we have 100% participation. That's very important when we approach like the community foundation. So I would ask everybody to make sure you do that. You just go to the website and there's a donate button there, and you can donate.
Bob, you forgot about me.
What? Oh,
for finance committee.
I did. I forgot about you. Your picture isn't showing up on my monitor. That's
sorry. I have a 9 a.m. interview, so
okay.
I had to make it into the office.
Okay, so give your report.
Sorry, I'm out of breath running my garage. So overall, it was a very interesting year. I think, some of the things we focus on always is the reporting and eliminating expenses. So I think some of our huge accomplishments this year were, we made the decision to leave TRO and transition to Diana. We just got QuickBooks Online set up. None of us are very good with it, so we're working on some education to figure out how to better utilize that to do better reporting. Hang on. Sorry, I'm almost to my office. So I think that was a huge win. Overall, I submitted financials, kind of comparing to the prior year and to the budget. I think the budget, was a little high on expected income. We didn't come close to meeting that, but overall, our expected expenses, we are below that still. So, I think we're about $1,800 loss right now, which I think is pretty good given the circumstances. To follow up on your board pledges, I looked at it as of last night. We have 60% of the board members have contributed. So I wanted to thank everyone who has done that so far. There are some that were just done in the past few days, so they are not reflected in the current November financial statements. But I think overall, I got a couple comments. I think just thinking of better ways to get donations and how we can use the current technology we have or evaluate other technologies like Venmo, I know has been mentioned, is definitely something we want to look into. We did, as a big accomplishment, I think PayPal is finally on our website, so you can donate to it. I don't think that was there a year ago. And obviously, Alan found text to give, and we're working on figuring out how to best utilize that.
I did get that. Could you try?
But overall, I think that's, we're on target. Like you said, I think a lot of changes are happening. I have received the strategy committee and the communications committee expected budgets. So anybody else who needs money, If you can send me their budgets, and if you have questions on what historically was or wasn't, I can gladly meet with you and share that information.
Yeah, that's going to be an essential ingredient. I'm basically at the point where that's the next thing to get that budget such that we know how much money to ask for when we go for a grant. And I want to do that in January and February and get it so that we're on the board. But thank you,
I
Jen.
think ultimately, Bob, we have to have like a stretch budget, right? And then
Yeah.
I think there might be like a conservative budget as well, based on what we get or don't get, right? Like,
Well, we have to identify what we're going to do. If I go for a $20,000 grant, we have to identify in our budget which line items are going to be covered by that grant. And so there's going to be some bookkeeping required to make that tight. So we've got a ways to go, but we got some time to do it. And I'm not panicking, but I just, one of the one thing that's really important is that 100% participation. And then we get there. And by the way, thanks to you, Jen, and Nicole, and the whole group of thinking about how we can shrink it to be in the footprint that we were operating in 2021. Want to get back so we're not so shrunk in the future, but a lot of heavy lifting done by all of us to be able to get where we are right now. And that is all I had on the agenda. I just can't thank you enough for your attention and your help throughout the year. This has been a challenging year, and one which we will never forget, I don't think. And we'll see where we go in 2022.
Bob, I have just a couple quick things.
Okay.
Someone asked about the status of Rick Rivers and the Rivers Group. And actually, I drove past there last night and thought, gee, I got to call Terry and find out. So I will do that today and send information out to all of you, particularly about Rick. The Rivers Group is surviving, but we'll see how Rick is. The other thing that occurs to me, the big breakthrough this year to me for our award program was that we have 3 iconic Rochester companies who got the award. Big, major community players. ESL's a constant force in philanthropy, RTS, of course, and Excellus, our major health insurer. So I would invite each of you to think about which major Rochester company would you think we should go after as a nominee. And I think we can leverage the awarding of the Effie to those 3 big companies to help us with that. That's a market we've never been able to crack, the big companies. So be thinking about that, and particularly if you have some kind of a connection anywhere in one of those organizations, where we could again leverage those existing this year's award winners to spread that to more
momentum. And there's two companies that I've been courting for a long time to try to get them, and I think they're both lined up for 2022. One is Bonadillo, who applied this year, and the other one is United Way.
We had approximately 30 companies nominated last year, and the overwhelming majority said they planned on participating this year, but they had to table 21 due to COVID impacts. So
we got a great list to work from, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, everybody. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor of leaving? Have a wonderful holiday, everybody, and see you in January.
Bye.
See you next year.
So.